Your face mask doesn't spell now, does it?
Really? That's not why people give me funny looks. That's like a name. Welcome everyone to the School Council, Tuesday, 20th of April. I shall start agenda by asking our town clerk if we have any apologies for absence.
We have apologies from Councillor Rob.
Apologies. Yes, I was going to say that.
He did phone me earlier.
I
think I might spoken to him first.
Hands up, who spoke against it? Thank you. Item 2 is declaration of interest. None. Item 3 is public participation. You know how it works. If you would like to ask any questions, stand up with your name and no more than 3 minutes. Say anything? Item 4 on the agenda is the full council meeting held on the to Councillor Anderson. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda, and very smooth, is the reports of committees and to receive and note the minutes of the council committees.
Thank you, Madam. I just wanted to ask where some of the minutes were this evening. Planning from 19th of April, climate emergency 28th of March, and the finance from the 22nd of April.
Listen, the climate emergency working group reports directly to the planning committee, so their minutes will not come to full council. The minutes of the planning meeting of the 19th of April, as usually there would be a week between the last committee meeting and full council. However, that wasn't the case in, this time, and so the minutes of the finance strategy management committee meeting of the 19th of April and the planning meeting of the same date were only produced after the agenda had been sent out.
Thank you. I've just cleared it because they're online, and I just wondered why the hard copies are not here to ratify, with it being the last of the council year for council this evening. It seemed odd.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see the minutes of the council speakers. I call Councillor Thomas to give the minutes of the planning meeting held on the 15th of March 2023.
Thank you. I'm pleased to present the minutes of the planning committee held on Tuesday the 15th of March. 172, apologies for absence. 173, declarations of interest. 174, minutes. 175, public participation. 176, plans amended. 177, plans new. Page 9. 178, objections, calling applications. 179, decision notices. 180, certificate of lawful development application. And then on page 10, 181, progress report for applications called in, and 182, progress reports. I do so move.
Thank you very much. Do you have your hand up? Sorry. Okay. All those in favour? Thank you very much. And Councillor Thompson, can I ask you to give the minutes of the meeting held on the 29th of March 22? Thank you.
I hereby present the minutes of the planning committee held on Tuesday, the 29th of March. 183, apologies for absence. 184, declarations of interest. 185, minutes. 186, public participation. 187, plans amended. Over the page, over 2 pages, onto page 14, 188, objections, calling applications. 189, decision notices. 190, certificate of lawful development application. And 191, the progress report for applications called in. I do so move.
Thank you very much for that. All in favour? Thank you. The next item is the recreation and amenities. I call on Councillor Brooke to give the minutes.
Minutes of the Recreation and Amenities Committee held on Tuesday, the 29th of March. Before I read them, can I just say, because it's not an agenda item, what a great success the Adventure Golf has been, and can we thank Stefan, Sheridan, the Parks Department, and Louise for such a fantastic job they're all doing.
Councillor
Oh, I was just going to add that the social media on has been brilliant too. So great team effort from everyone sharing it. Town council website has been real.
58 apologies for absence, 59 declarations of interest, 60 public participation, 61 alteration of order of business, 62 makings recreation ground basketball court, 63 minutes, 64 progress, 65 finance, 66 historic information boards. With that, I say no.
Thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you. And can I call on Councillor Lambert to give the minutes of the town community?
I'd like to present the minutes of the town community meeting held on the 5th of April. Item 79, apologies. 80, declarations of interest. 81, public participation. 82, minutes. 83,
No, not quite there yet.
Oh, sorry.
83, finances 2021-22. 84, graffiti.
Regarding the graffiti, I've been in touch with Mark Hopgood, which is the chairman of TWR, and he's going to get the people at the station to remove the graffiti, which they already have done with the green container, and they're going to get Network Rail to remove the graffiti off under the bridge at Mill Lane. And also, we have a bit of a development with one of the perpetrators. So
That's great. Thank you very much.
Right. 85 is also financing this 2021-22. Sure, that's and then we've got 76. So yeah, I have a bit of a mistake.
Should be 86. I think it meant to be 86.
Thank you very much. All in favour? Thank you very much. As Councillor Hillier pointed out, we unfortunately don't have a most up-to-date copy of the minutes in our finance, so there will be no report on those minutes. So we will move swiftly on to item 6 on the agenda. We've got 8 of March. Yes, do.
The minutes of the 8th of the FSM minutes of the 8th of March have actually been presented and noted at the previous full council meeting.
It seems like all council gets up a lot.
Okay,
Let's do it again.
Item 6 is the reports of other authorities, and that's to receive reports from districts and county councillors, questions through emails, 24 hours in advance. Councillor Arlett, do you have anything to?
No, Mayor.
And I know Councillor Derbyshire.
Not on the district council,
No.
because it's there.
Yeah.
No, Madam Mayor, nothing further to add. I think Ken covered most things.
Yeah, okay. And on the county council. Councillor Derbyshire.
Yeah, I have to apologise to councillors in the council that my county council report came to our email yesterday or this morning. I was intending doing it last week, but I was on holiday with a dodgy internet thing, so I couldn't actually include it. In summary, I will pick out one item. On Thursday, the 31st of March, at 8 AM, I'll read this bit because it's not really. On Thursday, the 31st of March, 8 AM in the morning, I met with Councillor Duncan Enright, who is the OCC Cabinet Portfolio Holder for Highways at the junction of Bell and New Street. The aim of the meeting was to show Duncan the true impact of HGVs on Henley. Thanks to Duncan for coming and seeing for himself. There were large lorries, etc. We toured the whole town centre and Duncan saw the problem. This resulted in him saying, I saw enough whopping lorries to see for myself the problem. So he absolutely acknowledged the problem. And now OCC officers are now working on an area strategy. They've gone away from point weight limits, for example, the bridge, but an area strategy for an 18-ton limit for Henley and a lump of South Oxfordshire. And I'm asking the officers for a timeline on this particular one. One other thing that's pertinent to this, on the corner of Bell Street and New Street by Savills, the estate agent, in the correct direction, we've always known that that particular pavement is incredibly dangerous because the large, long HGVs actually mount the pavement at that point. So therefore, there will be a new bollard at that point to actually make sure that the lorries stay on the road. And that will be, that's been paid for, and that will be probably installed in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So I will take questions because I didn't, because I submitted it late, so I apologise. Thank you. I didn't get the report, but I'm pleased to see the bollard at New Street. How long it's going to last, but good luck to it. That's all I say. I just wanted to raise a couple of things. The bollards on Thames side south, been more than a year waiting for those to go back in. These are the ones on the riverbank, on the where the car went into the river, and raise that. But the bigger thing I wanted to raise is the state of the potholes in the town, because we've always put them on Fix My Street, and I know Stefan goes around with his bicycle, but I don't drive a Victorian bone shaker. But if I went down New Street, I think I'd probably come off. It's quite shocking, the surface on New Street. Yes, lorries go down it, but if you go to the Kings Road junction, it is shocking too. And if you go up Grace Road, there are broken sets. Go down Marlow Road, there are potholes. Northfield End, bad as well. And I don't know whether it's because Wokingham's got an election at the moment, why their potholes are so much better. But I don't think the current administration is getting on with the ones that are here. I see bits of white paint, I see bits of red paint, but I think we should be doing better. Well, the answer to New Street, that is delayed because it's going to be completely and utterly refurbished. So there's no point in fixing potholes down there because it's going to be completely resurfaced from the Marlow, from the roundabout at Rupert House all the way around and to Thameside. So that's going to be done. I will produce a full report on potholes, and I am absolutely convinced that as many potholes are being fixed under the old administration as under the new administration. So therefore, that is not the case. And I think we've got a very good record on Fix My Street. When there is a pothole that is legitimate within the county constraints, because it has to be so deep and so big, it's not every pothole that's fixed, then I think we've got an extremely good record on potholes. We dealt with the Wokingham situation probably about 4 years ago. So I thank Councillor Hamilton for recycling that particular chestnut. And I think I said the potholes in Wolveraven's wife are just as heavily. I think we're doing pretty well. Thank you.
Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor Garishat, I've just noticed in the top of Bell Street, there's a massive big hole right down the centre of the road, about 2 inches deep. And also the other thing, the bollards that you're going to put at the bottom of New Street and Bell Street. I went round there on the bus the other day, and when the driver drives round, the front of his bus goes over the pavement because his steering wheels are behind him. So he automatically, his front of his bus goes over the pavement by Sapphirs, and vice versa coming from Marlow Road. The bus doesn't mount it with wheels, but the body of the bus does.
Well, I think, Councillor Clark, you've actually made my point, that payments are for pedestrians, and anything we can do to protect pedestrians from HGVs, buses, lorries, 4x4s, etc., is all to the good. So great, we've got a bollard that will stop that happening. Thank you.
Yeah, just to answer Councillor Hamilton's question on the 2 bollards at Riverside North. That's a town council issue and not a county council issue, and it's been dealt with the deputy town clerk and would you like a name as well? We're writing deputy town clerk and the parks department are dealing with it. So it's not a county council issue.
Regarding the pothole, the big pothole in Bell Street, I already reported that to Fix My Street about a month and a half ago, and they said that they're actually monitoring it, the one that goes from Starbucks to Coke. But there is also another big one further down by the.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Moving on. Item 7 is reports of outside bodies. Do you have any reports, Councillor Andrew?
So say that Bluebells will be having a second charity walk through some of our woodlands to look at whatever else but bluebells on Sunday, the 8th of May. So if you'd like to come along for some fresh air, some exercise, and maybe a fat wallet, you're more than welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Councillor Andrew. Any other Councillor Hamilton?
Yeah, I've regularly given updates on Bled, and I just wanted to raise the fact that I think it's time we updated the outside bodies list, because we get put down for various things and meetings don't happen. I know myself and John Hoop have been put down for the river, one on the river as it were, and I just think the outside bodies list gets copied and pasted from year to year, and I think someone needs to have a look at it and go, okay, are there other outside bodies that councillors could better serve versus what's currently on there? I'm thinking of, for example, the Housing Trust and various other bodies, for example, that are close to the council but are outside bodies. And I think that rather than just copy the paste at Civic at the mayor meeting, perhaps we should update that list and see where this council can help organisations and keep councillors up to date with what's going on. It may take a year to do, but at least start the process.
I attend all of my outside bodies unless they clash and we're on the same date, obviously. But one of my outside bodies, for example, is attending municipal charities, which is an extremely confidential committee, and we're quite simply not allowed to update the council on what we're doing. So whilst I am the council representative along with the mayor every year, I can't bring an update to this meeting.
Okay, let's move on. Item 8 is the mayor's civic engagements. I don't know about you, but I can barely read them. But it has been another good few months. I think I'm just trying to highlight a few, but I can't actually read them. But in February, I was invited to the Quakerist Society, and that was lovely. I didn't really, I still don't, well, I didn't at the time know much about the Quakers, but really lovely group of people, and thoroughly enjoyed my afternoon there, although pouring with rain. The Henley Bowling Club invited me to their annual dinner at the golf club. That was a fantastic evening. And you know, I was wined and dined, and I think, you know, the food was fabulous. Yeah, really good evening. Lovely Henley Youth Festival, again, fantastic. You know, I was lucky enough to be invited to a few of their events. That was good. I've been to a few events at the Relay. It's great to see that hotel taking off. Grace is doing a fantastic job. I had a very good meeting with the ambassador of Slovenia. We went up to Gillett's, and we, well, she had some drinks here. Then we went up to Gillett's, and you know, we looked at the hayrack and the linden tree that she gifted me. That was lovely. And then more recently, of course, Val Stoner's memorial at Phyllis Court, and beautifully, really well attended, fantastic afternoon. And it was really nice to see so many people remember what I thought. I think we all thought it was a fantastic woman who did so much for the town. And then lastly, really, I think Bluebells. I was invited to judge the Easter bonnet competition at Bluebells, and I haven't laughed so much. I mean, what lovely. I mean, it's such a, I would like to thank you. I think what you've done, Councillor Lambert, is amazing. It's a fantastic organisation. They're so happy, you know, it's a wonderful place. And I've thoroughly enjoyed that. So that's just a few highlights of many. That's my civic engagements. Yes, Councillor Arlen.
Yeah, I'm surprised you've missed one out there, Madam Mayor. On Tuesday, the 12th of April, when we did the unveiling and the plaque for Terry Bucket.
Oh, gosh,
I think
yes.
if I remember correctly, you said that's the best event you've been to.
Yes,
I think
yes.
they were your words.
They were my absolute words.
And I was going to say, hopefully we will have this plaque for you next Thursday morning, this coming Thursday morning. Put a plaque up in the day centre.
Yeah.
Hopefully the plaque will arrive.
Yes.
Is it here?
Tomorrow.
Hopefully the plaque will arrive, and somebody's going to fix it on the wall, and you'll be there on Thursday morning to unveil it. Thank you.
Definitely. No, I mean, that was, Councillor, a very special event. And it was lovely to meet the family, meet the wife, the family, and we had a little reception in the parlour. And yeah, it was very special, and I think you deserve.
We would say, well, maybe we should thank Mark Gossett for doing the buffet.
Anyway, enough thanks, let's move on. Lovely sound. Okay, then moving on now to item 9, which is the policies, and that's to undertake the annual review of the following policies: standing orders, financial regulations, and the scheme delegation. And I would like to ask the town clerk for an explanation of the policies, perhaps, and suggest any changes.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
First of all, apologies that your engagements were printed so small. Usually it would automatically flip it to landscape rather than portrait. But I'm sure that were you to attend fewer events, the writing would also be larger. But on the policies, so we'll start with standing orders. I've done track changes for all of them. Apologies, it is a little small when you do the comments down the side, but hopefully it's slightly more legible. So there, the main ones have been highlighted there. There are only 2 amendments that I'd like to suggest following discussion with Councillor Reisman. The first is on page 31, item 1Y. There is one of the sentences was deleted because I felt it was a duplicate. However, looking at it more closely, the wording isn't particularly clear, but basically this provision is when a meeting becomes in court. And that sentence there was referring to if the meeting becomes in court because because too many members for a particular item are unable to vote because they have a pecuniary interest. So I've suggested that we actually put that sentence back in, but that we amend the words to make it clearer that clause is referring to what happens when you become in court for a particular item, and the next sentence is if the meeting in general becomes in court. If that's clear. So I'd suggest that we replace the deleted sentence with a slightly amended one, which says if for a particular item or items on the agenda of the meeting, the number of members present and not debarred by reasons of a declared interest falls below the quorum, the items cannot be discussed and will be carried forward to the next appropriate meeting. So that was on 1Y. The only other amendment that I would like to suggest is on page 35, item 4A. Unless Councillor Weissman would like to speak to this. My understanding, I would suggest that 4A is amended because at the moment we do permit motions to be tabled if they are not on the agenda. An example would be if an officer brings a report to the committee, it will have a recommendation there, which may well form part of a motion. However, the motion itself is not on the agenda. So I would suggest that that basically we change the wording to reflect what already happens, which is that as long as an item is on the agenda, a motion in respect to that item can be raised. So I'd suggest wording along the lines of no motion may be moved at a meeting unless it is in regards to an item included on the agenda. A member wishing to submit a motion, and then it is as already written. And those are the only two amendments I want to suggest.
Sorry, Councillor Crook,
Yeah, there was one his missed.
One more, sorry.
One his. Yeah, I can't remember where it was, but there was
Two.
Two, yeah, that was the one that Ian pointed out. You missed
I believe there were three actually.
Was there three? I can't remember where it was, but I know you're going to stop.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, may I suggest another amendment? On page 33, where it refers to the proper officer at the bottom of the page, under all the red wording, it says the council's proper officer shall be the town clerk or such other employee appointed by the council to undertake the role of the proper officer. But I think that should really mention the deputy town clerk, because we've never had a deputy town clerk before. So when this was written, you only had the town clerk, and then it was any other employee stepped in. But I think this should reference the deputy town clerk as such. Yeah. Right. And it's an
Yeah.
There's a pecking. There's a pecking.
You're not going to give her a position. You might as well just.
I'd like to propose that the changes on the that are on the agenda in red, as explained in the agenda, and the subsequent changes that the town clerk has suggested are adopted by us now. I suggest that we don't change. I can see where Councillor Hillier is coming from on bottom of page 33. But I think what we have there is perfectly flexible, and it could be the deputy town clerk, or it could be another officer who can take the role of proper officer. Nothing here it prevents, misunderstanding your point. Nothing here prevents us appointing an officer if we so choose.
No, in response to that, Councillor Reisman, I agree with you, anyone could stand in, but the point is, we have a proper deputy town clerk, and I should imagine the only purpose of the title of deputy town clerk is to deputise for the town clerk. So I can understand any other could step in, but otherwise, what's the point of the deputy town clerk on this, on council?
I would suggest that the two are not entirely incompatible, and I can put in, I could put in reference to the deputy clerk, as well as leaving it open so that, and that they could refer to any other employee as well.
Yeah, I certainly agree that it would be sensible to, in first instance, to consider the deputy town clerk as the proper officer in the absence of the town clerk, or the wish for the town clerk not to be the proper officer, if that's the case. So I'd like to propose that those changes on the agenda, as mentioned by the town clerk, and as suggested by Councillor Hillier, are made standing orders. So,
Councillor Galusha. Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Okay, item 10 on the agenda.
The finance.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm jumping, I'm so sorry.
And then another one.
Yes.
Town clerk.
Do you want to speak on the,
Very briefly,
would you like to? Yes.
just to say, I've had certain changes to the financial regulations. There's nothing really very exciting to say other than that, unless there are any questions. And the scheme of delegation is unamended. It's just really inclusion.
can I propose that the amendments as suggested by the town clerk and the agenda in red are adopted? I noticed that we've even managed to take into account Brexit. I'm sure that makes sense.
Is that the financial regulations or both of them? Just finance?
We do.
I was
Let's
gonna say,
do them
both.
separately.
Okay.
Just in case all was.
So we've got a proposal. Councillor Clark, you seconded it. Thank you. All in favour? Okay, and for the scheme of delegation?
Yeah, I'm happy to propose the scheme. Delegation. Always a change that we did.
Okay, Councillor Galusha, and all in favour? That's good. Right. Item 10 on your agenda is to see nominations for the mayor and the deputies. Councillor
Right. I'd like to propose Councillor Michelle Thomas as mayor-elect for 2022-23. Just very briefly, as we can have a long speech at the annual meeting, and there's plenty of people there on the 9th of May. Councillor Thomas was elected to this council 3 years ago, and in that time she has grown into a very mature councillor, dare I say. Councillor Michelle Thomas has been involved with numerous council committees and working groups, especially being a member of the Joint Henley and Hertfordshire Neighbourhood Plan, where her support has been most valuable. Councillor Michelle Thomas took over the chairmanship of the planning committee 2 years ago, and I should like to say that she's took that like a duck to water. Anyone who can control both councillors Galusha and Plant at planning meetings deserves, in my opinion, a chance to become mayor of Henley and Thames. I know Councillor Michelle Thomas will be fair to all councillors at full councillors meetings, providing they are polite to her. I look forward to accepting that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to second that. And I will say a few words, if I may. Do I need to stand?
No,
And it will be a
Everybody
few words, because I will say a few of them making, but I think that Councillor Michelle Thomas is absolutely up for the job, and she's been a really great deputy, someone I can trust, someone I can rely on. She's a good councillor, and I've seen her grow into this over the last few years. She's someone that won't take any. What you see is what you get with Councillor Michelle Thomas, and I think, for those reasons, I would very much like to second that. To go to a. Are there any other nominations? Okay, so can I ask all those in favour of Councillor Mayor Michelle Thomas being the mayor elect for 22-23? All those in favour? That's a full house.
That should be worth watching.
Okay, can I now take I think nominations for deputy mayor, Councillor Hinton.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Donna Crook for deputy mayor elect, because having just voted for Michelle, I believe they will make a great team leading the town council. And I've seen firsthand on RNA how hard Donna works as a councillor. If the nomination is successful, I will have plenty more to say at mayor making. But for now, I think Councillor Crook will make a fantastic deputy mayor.
Thank you very much. And do I have a seconder at all? Oh, Councillor Ganshaw.
Yes, yes, I'd like to second Councillor Crook, Donna. I think Donna is the epitome of a great councillor. When she walks all over the town, and as it explained tonight about potholes in Bell Street, whatever, the number of WhatsApp messages I get about graffiti and potholes and other stuff is absolutely brilliant. She's been fantastic. She's, or I will almost say, the instigator of the town bus 3 or 4 years ago. So, and was a great member of that particular committee. She's been a great vice chair on the plotting on the adventure golf and extremely hard working. So I think, yeah, with Michelle and Donna, we will be well served going forward as MD next year. Thank you.
Councillor, did you want to say anything?
I'm okay.
You're okay.
Good.
Okay. Do I have any other nominations for deputy? I see none. Can I ask you to now vote for Councillor Donna Crook to be the deputy mayor elect for 22-23? Those in favour? Thank you. That's great. Okay. Congratulations. This is my last. That's it, isn't it? This is my very last full council. So I've got a few words I'm going to say very quickly before we all head off into the parlour to raid my fridge and eat my food. Karen, don't take a photo of us all, will you? Now, well, in a minute. Okay, so yes. As you know, today is my last time. I should be chairing for council. I just have to say, it does seem like yesterday I was elected. And my one real worry, out of many worries that I did have, was chairing this meeting every 6 weeks, you know, because we're all very different. We've all got different personalities and opinions. But I would like to thank each and every one of you for your support. You've all been a delight to work with. You've all gone over and above the remit of duty. You work so incredibly hard for the town, and it's not forgotten that, you know, we are unpaid volunteers and we do what we do because of our love for this town. So thank you all. I would also like to thank my town clerk, Sheridan, Jacqueline Edwards, and all the council staff who have fully helped and supported me in this role as mayor and chairing the full council. On Monday the 9th, I will be handing my bling over to the new mayor, and I will be sad, but I know that you will all support her in the same way that you have supported me, which has been quite fantastic. So thank you very much. I'm going to, I'm going to mention the Mayfair on Monday very quickly. I know I keep going on about it. 12 till 5. We've got some great sponsorship from Wilkins, from Penny and Sinclair, Divas and Do's, the Anaconda Choir, Rupert House School, Experience Henley, and of course the Town Council. It's going to be lots of fun. We've got a great MC with Stefan Gavashak. We've got entertainment, we've got stalls, we've got Morris dancers, we've got Maypole dancers. I'll be there to open the event. And there will be road closures. So, on that note, please come along. And but let's go and do it
Well,
first.
so
Thank you all
question,
very much.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
You said Councillor Gavashak, will 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock be brief and full?
I've actually I've worked with you in the AV for 2 days. So Councillor is